Welcome to another episode of Void City Reviews. I'm Toast.
I am Dan.
And today we're going to be looking at, this is the Mafex Batman Hush Superman. But it's Superman.
It is Superman.
From Batman Hush.
Yes.
The naming gets weird. It's Mafex, which is a Metacom company. But this came out sometime last year. This is a reissue.
Oh,
because
it is? Okay.
It sold out like instantaneously.
I didn't know this is one where you had pre-ordered it and it just took this long to get it with how everything's been going lately in the world.
The pre-order sold out, and I'm like, oh, I'll just get it when it releases. And then it released, and it again was sold out.
Gone.
And I'm just like, I'm never going to get this, and I want it.
Well, now that I've seen it, I think I understand a little bit why it may have sold out that quickly. So.
Oh, yeah. This is, for a lot of people, their favorite Superman figure.
Especially being a 6-inch figure, so small like that, it's pretty impressive.
I really like the Mafex Hush line, and I'm hoping that goes for a long time. We looked at the Catwoman, which you can throw a link into.
Yep. The Catwoman. I imagine we'll look at Batman at some point, but we do show him in most of the other videos, and we'll show him again today. So it's a great line from a great story that has a lot of characters still to choose from.
And I already pre-ordered Nightwing, who's probably going to be delayed, but it's tentatively scheduled for the end of the year. And I think the only one I'm skipping is Huntress, because I don't really like that outfit for her. But I'm waiting for...
You have Poison Ivy, right?
She doesn't exist. She's the one I want.
There's no Poison Ivy?
No.
Oh, we have... We'll get into why that's a little bit confusing.
We have plants.
Yeah. Her accessories come with Superman here, but...
Yes.
Well, that's... Wow.
Yeah.
It's surprising to find that out.
Right. So, let's look at the figure.
Yes, let's look at this figure.
So, here we have a close-up, and he does have a wired cape. So, there's nothing along the bottom, but it's along the two edges, which I think is enough for most capes.
Pretty much all you need.
Right. So, it's a very Jim Lee style, as it should be. Look at that head.
It's a very nice head sculpt.
Oh, and there's paint all over my hands.
Yes, let's talk about that for a second.
So you said, leave your house in 10 minutes. And I said, oh, that's long enough to get some priming done.
Oh, my.
And the cap wasn't completely on the nozzle. So I didn't know it at the time, but I had not all of the paint was shooting out straight. Some of it was coming out the bottom.
Oh, no.
And then I shook the can halfway through and just paint went all over the garage.
Oh.
And yes.
And yourself.
It's all over my hands. So depending on how much we shoot today, you're going to see these hands in a couple of videos.
Well, at least it's paint and not Band-Aids or cuts or things. And at least it's not all over your face. It'll look like you robbed a bank or something.
Oh, show off the back of the cape. Because not all Supermans come with an S on the back, but this one does. And it happens to be yellow, which
I think for that story would be appropriate. I think New 52 had the black S. Right?
I do like the black, but I think this is accurate.
Yeah.
I
think personally, I don't like him having an S at all on the cape.
Agreed.
I get why he has it.
I'm not going to look at him much from the back anyway. Yeah. Although he has been, since I got him, I've had him for about a week. And I've had him on a flight stand on the corner of my desk, so I actually do see him from both sides. But
what is that screen printed on there? Like
I
a
think
T-shirt, kind of?
It's definitely...
I mean, it's not like a sticker, but I mean, it looks like it's actually on that fabric.
Yeah.
Or is it some kind of an iron-on, maybe?
Might be an iron-on.
It almost seems like an application you get like on a T-shirt, maybe, but
there's an edge to it. You can feel the difference.
Yeah.
So it's not just printed onto the fabric. But he, as far as articulation, he has pretty standard Mafex articulation. I do think the chest is maybe big. Did you have any opinions about the chest?
Well, I mean, it's Jim Lee. Sometimes he draws chests humongous. Other times he draws them sort of like flat and they stick out more in the diaphragm area than on the pectoral area. This one has definitely more like the bigger pecs.
I think it's the gap between the shoulder and chest. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he is a pretty wide body, but I mean, again, I think that matches Jim Lee's style because he drew both these guys looking pretty humongous.
This comparison. So I don't know. I think the shoulder socket.
Yeah,
whatever this is called. I think it's filled out a bit better on Batman than Superman.
One thing I just noticed looking at those that I'll throw in here right now is I noticed that Batman's head is bigger than Superman's, which is fantastic. That's one thing that bothers me in a lot of action figures in the same line where you'll have a Batman and a Superman. They kind of forget that Batman is a human wearing a giant rubber cowl over his already normal-sized head. So his head should be bigger than everyone else's around him who's just a normal human or just not wearing a mask. And a lot of times if you look at a lot of other figures, I mean, specifically I know a lot of the Justice League ones, a lot of the movie ones, you'll see like the Ben Affleck Batman next to Henry Cavill, and Henry Cavill's head is way bigger than...
Well, I think even if you just look at...
It's just weird because it doesn't acknowledge. But here, it looks like here's a guy with a mask over it. Well, they have different jaw lines too, but... Batman's definitely got the big square one. Superman's is a bit more chiseled.
So for anyone unfamiliar, I will run through this real quick. We've got it's kind of a butterfly because of the gappiness up in the shoulder. He can get some forward, but double jointed elbow. He's got bicep rotation. He's got diaphragm and waist, hips that get out pretty decent range, along with the double jointed knee. There's no boot swivel, but he does have the ankles that get some range, but it also runs into the sculpt, so he gets up about that far, and then toe. And he does have lower neck, so going into the chest and then up at the head as well.
Nice.
He stands like a champ.
Yeah, he does. I noticed that you haven't had very much trouble at all standing him up. I mean, it does help that we have the poster board on here now, or the foam board, rather than just the velvet cloth like we usually try to attempt to stand these figures on and fail most of the time. But yeah, he does stand pretty well, especially with the big cape on him.
Well, the nice thing is the cape is light. So this is actually, I think I talked about this in Catwoman 2. This is not the standard cape. I did modify this figure and put on a different cape. So he originally had a wired cape and it was massive. And I put on this smaller one. Pure fabric, no wires, but I like it. I think it fits better. This guy had a massive cape. This one is smaller. Again, there's 2 wires, but it doesn't make him back heavy, which is nice.
Yeah. Typically, though, unless it's the Man of Steel movie version of Superman, his cape is a lot shorter than Batman's. It usually goes down to maybe like the back of his knees or maybe mid-shin length, maybe mid-calf. That's about it. It usually doesn't go to the ground or beyond, so...
Yeah. But he does have... So it tucks into the chest, which I think might be why I think that the chest is maybe bigger. I don't know, maybe. So he's got some folds in the back. He's got the folds up here, which I think are all appropriate. He's got a great Jim Lee head sculpt with the S-curl hair. One thing that does worry me about this is all of this is hard plastic except for the waist, the crotch piece, which is rubbery. And just from experience with McFarlane figures, I do worry if I pose him in a certain way for too long that this might become deformed.
Usually you can fix that a lot of the time, though.
Let's look at some accessories. So first we have an alternate head, and this is gritting teeth, angry eyes. The thing that I kind of wish we got was a more neutral face. So this, he's frowny, and in this, he's definitely angry, and there's no, like, happy?
Just regular.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've seen that complaint of both McFarlane too. So the sort of Superman toys in general is it's hard to get a happy Superman.
I don't know. I think that I sort of look at this story as being one of the more recent ones where they kind of started to have the angrier, edgier Superman, like Jim Lee coming on board, and is right before New 52 started. I mean, shortly before that, and Superman was definitely a bit angrier and whatnot during that whole run. So
I don't have a problem. I
think Superman has a lot to be angry about. Like, I was kind of happy to see him angry about some things that in the past I felt he should be angry about and just glossed over. So
I liked New 52 Superman, and I liked Man of Steel Superman.
Oh yeah.
Henry Cavill is not really very happy in those movies.
No.
But
he was getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had gotten to see the full arc, I mean, it would have happened eventually.
There's a couple of scenes.
I think a lot of people just want him to magically be Superman, like the instant he becomes Superman, and just be like the Christopher Reeve, everything works out. Everything, like, that's part of why I don't like that movie anymore, is because, like, he had magic. And where literally every problem, nothing that happened in the movie had any repercussions. None of it. None of the damage, none of the people hurt, nothing. Because he can just time travel the world backwards and make everything fine. So, like, nothing that anyone ever did really mattered after that first movie, because even in the second one, he just did the same thing again and ended the movie the exact same way. Oh, stuff got messed up, I'll just fly backwards. I don't like magical problem-solving everything in a snap Superman. I like Superman where there's, like, consequences.
Yeah.
Like in Man of Steel, like, they showed us kind of for the first time what would happen if two people as powerful as Superman fought each other on Earth with, like, cities and stuff in the way. It would knock it all down. People would die. If you want realistic superhero movies, that's going to happen. You know, I mean, it can't be like Avengers where they destroy half of New York with sky whales from space and then say, oh, yeah, only like 6 people died. It's all good. Or maybe not even that many.
No,
what?
They didn't say that until Age of Ultron, which was after the controversy of Man of Steel.
Yeah. Where they were trying to come back and, oh, no, yeah, no one died for us. We were all good. What? You were dropping whales from the sky onto buildings. A lot of people died.
Nope, everyone's fine. Gotta insert that line of dialogue to ward off the internet.
Yep. So,
anyway, Superman occasionally
doesn't come with enough neutral or happy faces.
Occasionally smiles.
Yes, he does occasionally smile.
Maybe if they do, this is terrible, but the follow-up to Hush, which was
oh my God, was that the one where Superman fought Mount Rushmore?
Yes.
Let's just skip past even remembering that, because that
is so bad.
I remember being so excited, like, yeah, he did Hush, Batman, now he's going to do a Superman book. I'm going to get those. And reading, I'm like, he's fighting Mount Rushmore.
I was on the forum, and I picked 2 names out of a hat, and I'm like, if Brian Azzarello ever writes Superman, I would read it. And then Marley says, Brian Azzarello is currently writing Superman. And I'm like, what? What? Why? How? What? And then it was terrible.
It was
just terrible.
Holy cow.
And I like Azzarello.
And people were upset about the New 52.
Oh. You know, so the problem with New 52 complaints is those people complaining don't remember the garbage that came before New 52.
No, they don't.
There is a reason that line got restarted.
Also, most of them didn't read comics before New 52. They didn't read comics after New 52.
Because immediately before New 52 was Reign of the Doomsdays.
Oh.
One of the worst pieces of garbage.
The only thing that redeemed that story was the art by KR. That was the only thing.
He only drew the first couple because then he got shuffled off to New 52 to like prep the line. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Thank God for that, because
so bad.
That story was That's just more evidence that you got to stop. You use Doomsday once for the one thing he was created for, and then you don't ever use him again. Cyborg Superman throws him back into space. He's someone else's problem now. We don't ever see him again. That's where they should have left it.
That would have been nice, but it's not how comics work.
No.
Because every comic writer now used to be a comic fan. So he comes with some Poison Ivy pieces. This is how I remember him.
Yeah.
I could put on the Red Eye's face, but I mean, this is how he shows up.
That's the main part of the story that he was used for, was that fight with Batman where he was mind controlled by Poison Ivy and he had the vines all over him.
And I go, oh shit, when I got to that page.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh, I didn't expect Superman to show up in this Batman story. That's all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the vines just snap on. You pop off his head. This one goes around the neck. You pop off the fists. These two go around the forearms. It's super easy. I would like, please, I've mentioned this before. I think I've mentioned this in every Mafex Hush figure video, including the ones on Shock and Awe. Please do Poison Ivy.
Yeah. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I can't believe there isn't one. And it doesn't make any sense. I think you've been waiting for a Hush Poison Ivy figure since, when did we start at Railcorp? I know it's been at least since then.
The closest I've gotten, and I'm pretty satisfied with it still, because she was one of the best figures in that line, is New 52 from DC Direct.
I know, because even when that line came out, you were waiting for a Hush Poison Ivy, I think. She
was one of the only figures that had thigh swivel. And the sculpt was amazing. It was the full body. It was New 52 Poison Ivy, who had like black and green. It wasn't just like bikini vines.
Yeah.
She looked awesome. She had a great face sculpt. And surprise thigh swivel. He also comes with hands. So we've got flying through the air karate chop hands. We have two slightly open fists. I guess these are flying fists, and these are maybe punching fists. Is that? Look at these hands.
You can't really put anything in those.
For this, the thumb is slightly untucked.
Yeah, maybe those are just flight hands. I don't know. That's weird. Figured a fist is a fist. I don't know if you make a different fist to fly than you would to punch someone in the face, but it's so weird. It's just literally, this is the difference. This is one, that's the other. But everything else is the same.
That's weird. I've never seen anything like that.
That's
Grappling hands. And we have relaxed hands.
Zombie hands.
Zombie hands, if they're horizontal. Zombie hands. And then this is a very nice throw-in. And Mafex does this sometimes, where they will give you additional pieces for previous figures. So we have a Batman Kryptonite ring.
That's an awesome addition.
For that same issue here.
Because that is how Batman ultimately defended himself once he got to Metropolis there. I think, because he had to go to Metropolis for whatever reason, I think.
I feel like they were in the sewer for that scene.
They were, but it was in Metropolis.
Yes.
So did someone kidnap Lois, or is that how? No, that's how they got him back, right? Because they threw her off a building.
Pops right on. Yes. Catwoman, I think.
Yeah, Catwoman kidnapped Lois and was like, sorry about this, but you know the deal. It's just kind of like, reluctantly, like, I'm kind of against this, but it's happened so many times at this point. Just throw me off the building. I get it.
Kryptonite ring. This is awesome.
Yeah. But I always love when he pulls out that ring, because it's like,
oh yeah,
the one person who should have remembered he gave that to Batman never seems to remember he gave that to Batman for specifically that moment. At this point, he would just expect to get Kryptonite punched in the face. Oh,
you just have that in one of your pouches all the time, huh?
Yep. It usually goes right in the middle one, right in the buckle, lead lined. Which is probably good that it's lead lined, considering what it did to Lex Luthor's hand and eventually his whole body. You probably don't want to be keeping that right on your belt.
Kryptonite is the most inconsistently magical thing in all of DC.
Yeah. Is it radioactive and killing everyone around it, or is it just hurting Superman, or both? who knows?
Were we just complaining about Kryptonite? Was that on camera? About an island and it only affects him if he sees it?
Yeah. Well, that was so in Superman Returns. Yeah, he lands on that island that Lex Luthor made. That's basically made out of Earth version of Kryptonite. It's like a hybrid Kryptonite, so it's not pure Kryptonite, which is why I can accept that this scene happened the way that it did. But it is very strange that so Lex Luthor has a piece of Kryptonite on his person, like a pure one, and Superman's on an island of Kryptonite that's hybrid but still Kryptonite, and he doesn't notice at all until Lex Luthor punches him and it makes him fall down, and then he's like, oh, something's wrong. And then Lex tells him it's Kryptonite, and he suddenly can't even stand up anymore. And I'm like, what? But, like, just flying towards the island, you should have felt like you were going to throw up and then fallen into the ocean and just died even going near the thing based on every single other time in the past. I mean, in the movie that's technically the prequel to that movie, Lex Luthor had a piece of it on a chain, and it made Superman almost drown in a swimming pool in a sewer.
That's fantastic.
So, but then in this one, he's like, no, I'm going to lift an entire island of it and throw it into space, mostly because I have to. But he did just supercharge himself with the sun, and it wasn't real Kryptonite. The real Kryptonite was gone. Lois threw it away. That's the only reason I can accept that he was able to do that at the end there. But I do think it was funny that he walks up to Lex Luthor, who has the piece in his pocket, and just being in the pocket of a wool coat makes it not affect Superman until he can physically see it with his eyes. And then, oh! So I think Kryptonite's all in his head. I think if you didn't tell him there was Kryptonite around, it wouldn't affect him whatsoever.
Wool's pretty thick, man. I don't know. Maybe it's not that different from lead. I'm really happy I have this figure. Finally.
Yes, finally.
I thought for sure I would have to either miss him or pay
or eBay him for a ridiculous amount of
minimum.
Money.
It's double.
Ooh, you've already looked.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was looking. But minimum, it's double retail. It's usually like $300.
Wow.
I don't know how
much is he normally? Is this regular retail? Like 80, 100?
I think the reissue is more than the original.
Oh, wow.
Especially on Big Bad Toy Store, who will take whatever money they can get. But, so I got him from a Japanese site that I'd never heard of before. It was something like 1998.co.jp. But it was the only place where I could get on a wait list.
Wow.
And I was on the wait list for about a week. And then it came up. And I bought it, and I'm like, I really hope this works, and this site isn't some kind of scam. DHL showed up a couple of days later, and it's real.
Yeah, it
so
is.
I like it. I'm adding that site to my favorites. I will check it periodically, but super happy to finally have this guy.
Yeah, well,
I thought for a long time that I missed him, and I was just never going to get it because I didn't want to pay scalper prices.
No, not for figures like these either.
So he was, I think I got him for $90.
All right.
I'd have to check.
That's right in between the two I threw out there. Is the usual, so that seems about right.
I think we've mentioned this before too, but prices are going up on everything.
Yes.
Especially in the last year.
Literally, not just toys, like everything. Like candy at the store, candy bars. Right. If you can find them. There are shortages on candy bars. That seems so incredibly strange to me.
That's not something I've heard about before.
Yeah, candy is going up in prices. Chocolate, candy bars.
Everything based on paper.
Oh.
There's a global paper shortage.
There's a global everything shortage. It's ridiculous.
Well, there's that too.
I want a PS5. Can anyone in the comments send me one, and I'll review it for you. And then I'll keep it. I gotta try everything, man. That's the only way I'm gonna get one at this point. Anyways, yeah, these figures are fantastic. I really like them a lot. Again, I kind of have gotten away from the 6-inch, like the smaller figures, after I got out of the Mattel Movie Masters line. I've been doing more of the 7-inch McFarlane ones, as you can see, or like wrestling figures, but I really like these. The head sculpts are amazing. I like all the accessories.
There is a
cloth capes, which I typically, for the most part, don't usually like. I still like these a lot.
There's a Mafex stand as well. These are standard, and I had him opening on a DC stand because this was on the corner of my desk at the time. And it's a little bit higher. It's definitely more stable because these things are articulated and sometimes you have to tighten the screws in order for it to not flop over. But this is fine. I've used these elsewhere. So there's a stand, there's accessories. He is one of the best looking Superman figures in my opinion, and he is very well articulated. I'm happy.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's a really nice figure.
I do prefer generally a 1/10 7-inch scale, just because I'm an adult and I don't even have that large of hands, but just 7-inch toys, I think.
They're not too humongous that they look goofy,
right,
and are too expensive then, but they're also not so small that we're going to break them with dealing clumsy adult hands.
Over the last couple of years, getting a bunch of McFarlane figures, the Hasbro stuff now seems like toys.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
They seem small, they seem basic.
Just itty bitty.
But I really like the Mafex line, and I will continue getting the Hush figures. Poison Ivy, please.
Everyone. Just make everyone from the whole story. Just make them all.
I think eventually.
Hope so. That'd be nice.
I think that is all that we can say about this. It is good. I hope that you got one if you want one. And if you... I don't know. Mafex does, and this was my hope for a long time, is Mafex will occasionally reissue their toys. So... I don't know if they do multiple times. By the time you're watching this, you might have missed your window.
Just set up those Google alerts, I guess.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't have to pay scalper prices if you were looking for this, but he should be available, maybe? Question mark?
Seems worth it, so.
Oh, yes.
Especially for sure. If you're trying to collect this whole line. Grab him.
Yes. That's ultimately what I'm trying to say. And grab the whole Mafex line. Really, this Hush. I'm a big fan of the Hush Mafex line. The whole video. I didn't have anyone fall over.
It happens. It was bound to happen at some point. It's fine. I don't think that's the figure's fault, though.
It's the posing.
Yeah.
Posing is my fault. That's been it.
That is it.
We've run out of things to say. We've
good
run out
figures.
Of praise, really.
Yeah, good figures. Buy them.
Buy good figures.
Especially if you like that series, if you like Jim Lee's art, if you like Mafex figures in general, if you collect 6-inch figures and you want to get good versions of these characters for your displays, just grab them. It's all the standard YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I guess until next time, I've been Dan.
I'm Toast.
And we are going to play with some action figures. See you next time.
Thanks for watching.